What is going on, my fellow navigators, and welcome back to another video. Today, guys, we're going to be having another discussion on undervalued Pokemon cards. Now, if you guys watched my last video on this topic, you'll know that I am a big proponent of a concept in the financial world called value investing. And this was a concept that was really popularized by Warren Buffett. And it essentially just means that there are certain, in this case, stocks out on the market that some investors feel are being undervalued or overlooked by the overall market. And so what these investors do is they go in and they pick up these stocks at a much lower price with the foreknowledge or the insight that these products will actually increase tremendously in value over the long term based upon certain characteristics that they see in that stock. And essentially, I do the same thing with Pokemon cards. I take that same type of concept and I try to apply it to Pokemon cards in general. So really the purpose behind these videos is to try to provide you guys with some insight, some things that I see out on the open market that I feel like most collectors and investors are currently overlooking, and that I feel like are undervalued by the overall market, and that I think present an opportunity for you guys, for myself, to get in while these prices are lower, with the idea that there are certain characteristics about these particular products that will eventually allow this product to increase tremendously in value over the long term. And it was actually recommended to me by one of the members of the community. I'll go ahead and put their comment down below, but it was recommended to me that I actually maybe continue this discussion as part of a monthly series. And I think that's actually a really good idea. I think that this will be a nice series to include each month where we can actually discuss certain products that I see out on the open market that maybe a lot of people are overlooking. There's always going to be those really obvious cards out there that everyone is talking about, whether it be modern, ultra modern, or even vintage, that everybody truly knows is going to increase in value. But realistically, guys, there is a huge line of Pokemon cards out there that many people don't even know exist. And these are the cards that some of the higher end investors, higher end collectors, they're familiar with. But for the average person, that maybe is not totally engrossed in the hobby, they're not going to be familiar with. So really my goal behind these is to have just one episode per month where we can discuss certain products that I think have potential, and hopefully you guys can take advantage of some of these products and get in while the getting is good. But before we begin, guys, you know what to do. Go ahead and give me that double slap attack, one for that like button, one for that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified each and every time one of these investing videos drops, go ahead and thunder punch that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. And with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's discussion all about undervalued Pokemon cards. Now, this first line of cards that I'm going to be discussing was actually brought to my attention by one of the members of the community. They go by Aviator 530. So thank you so much for bringing these to my attention. Now, I had somewhat of a cursory knowledge about these particular cards. I had come across them before in my investing journey, and I just never really took the time to really engross myself in them and learn a lot about them. But having done so over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've done a lot of research on these, and I do think that these present a nice potential for investors and collectors out there. So let's go ahead and jump over to our screen here. I am on Bulbapedia, which you guys haven't, if you haven't gone to before, it is a great resource to learn pretty much everything about Pokemon in general, but specifically about Pokemon cards. And the first one that we're going to go over here are they're called the Victory Medal cards. And essentially, these were released in Japan as promotional cards back in around 2005. and it was basically a tournament series that they had where specific game shops in Japan would hold these little mini tournaments, and the winners of these tournaments would be awarded with these victory medal cards. So they're really interesting because they're kind of a quasi trophy card. I mean, they're a trophy card in the sense that they were awarded to a select few individuals who won these tournaments, but they're also not nearly as exclusive as some of the other trophy cards that you guys might be familiar with that were won at, you know, regional tournaments or world tournaments, things like that. So they kind of fall in between there. So they're a really unique type of product. And then after the series through Japan in 2005, the first English versions came out in the spring of 2007. So we'll just scroll down to the bottom here so that you can see some of these cards. So here you've got the spring 2008 Battle Roads print. And this was the original print here, the original one from Japan. And I believe these came out around the EX era. So they have that EX style design on the initial cards. But as you kind of go through the years here, you can see the progression to some of the, you know, Diamond and Pearl series, you know, some of the print runs that were very similar in their design. But I really think these cards are quite unique in the fact that, again, they were only awarded to people who participated in these tournaments. And these tournaments, by the way, were called Battle Roads. It was called the Battle Roads series, so Battle Roads tournaments. And, you know, it was only available in Japan and in North America. So essentially, you're getting into, you know, what is otherwise a trophy card, not nearly as exclusive, obviously, but you're getting in at a much lower price. And so let's go ahead and just pop on over to eBay so that we can take a look at some of these cards to see what they're going for on the open market. So just here at the top, all I've done is I've just typed in Pokemon Victory Medal. I like to leave it rather abstract when I'm searching for things on eBay so that I get basically as much as possible. So here at the top, you've got the Victory Medal promo Pokemon card. This one is, let's see here, I think this was for the 2008, but I'm not positive. But so going for $60. Here you've got the original one for the United States or North America, the spring 2008-2009, and in a PSA 8 going for $125. And what we'll do also, I'll pop on over to the sold listings as well so that we can go through that and see what they have sold for recently. But here you've got the 2010 Gold Spring winner. So this one's listed for $150, this one here for $109. And, you know, just taking a look at these cards' condition, you know, they do appear that they are in quite good condition. You know, just taking a look at all of those characteristics that we like to look at: corners, edges, surface, centering, all of those different things. These all look really nice. And, you know, these are also a part of that Play Pokemon series that existed right around this time as well. But you can see down here, you know, just in its raw form, you know, the Silver Medal Pikachu going for $60. And if we scroll down a little bit, here you've got the Silver Medal. This is the Arceus promo. So if we bounce back over here, that Arceus one, so this would have been, it's a Diamond and Pearl print. So I believe this is around the 2010 tournament series. So in its raw form, going for $90, but as you can see here in a PSA 10, you know, going for around $250. Here's that Silver Medal Pikachu in a PSA 9, going for, you know, close to $300, and in its raw form, you know, they're listing it as near mint, so it could be PSA 7, PSA 8, but, you know, going for $80 here, and really, you know, the main thing that we're looking for in these undervalued Pokemon cards is we're we're looking for either raw cards that are going for a really good price compared to their PSA equivalents, based upon what grade they come back in, or we're trying to find graded cards that are also undervalued, that aren't really, the price is not necessarily indicative of the rarity, the exclusivity of that particular card. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the sold listings here so we can see what these cards are actually going for. And I know, guys, the price that you see on here that it's showing that they sold for, that may not necessarily be the price. Normally, I like to go to Flipper Tools, which is a program that was developed by eBay itself, where you can see the actual selling price. But there's been some kind of either glitch or some kind of, I don't know, spam going on with that website, and it has been down for quite some time now. But this will at least give us an estimate, but I just want to make that clear first and foremost. So here at the top, you've got 3 medals of victory. These are the gold, silver, and bronze, and it looks like those would be, let's take a look here. So I believe this might be around like 2011, but it's these ones right here that were sold for about $300, so about $100 per card. Let's see if we can find some of the PSA 10 graded versions of that as we scroll through here. I think these are it right here. Is this it? I believe so. Yeah, so these are the exact same cards here. And the best offer was accepted. We're showing at around $700, so we don't know if it was exactly that. It could have been lower, it was probably a little bit lower than that. But $700, you pick it up for $300, that's, $400 profit on your investment there, which is really nice. Here again, we're looking at even the Japanese versions of these cards are going for quite a bit of money as well. So I think that there is quite a bit of potential in these cards, guys. And as you can see here, you can pick up many of these cards in their raw version for a really good price, in my opinion, compared to what they have been selling for in their PSA graded equivalents. So I think this does present a nice opportunity, and this is really what it's all about. It's trying to find these areas, these small little niches within the Pokemon TCG that you can get into that many people either aren't familiar with or that they're just kind of overlooking. And I think this is one of them. I think that the fact that these cards kind of fall in that sort of gray area there, sort of a quasi trophy card, but again, they don't have that same kind of rarity, exclusivity that you would see in traditional trophy cards for world championships, regional championships. So I think that, one, not many people are familiar with them. Even for myself, I wasn't totally familiar with them until I had really done the research on them and had educated myself on, just how good of a product these might actually turn out to be. And so I think this is definitely something to take a look at, guys, and let me know what you guys think of these cards. Let me know if you've got experience with them, if maybe you've bought some in the past, if you've sold some in the past, or if you've got some a part of your own personal collection. All right, guys, so the next set of cards that I want to go ahead and discuss here are known as Legend cards. Now, these cards came out in the Heart Gold, Soul Silver era, and they're probably some of the most unique type of cards that you'll ever see in the Pokemon TCG, especially if you're not familiar with these. So let's go ahead and jump back over to the screen here, and we'll go ahead and just give you a little bit of a background on these cards. So as I said, they came out in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver expansion. And essentially, they are 2 cards that make up one full card. So just taking, for example, this card here on the right, this is a Kyogre and Groudon Legend card. Now, it may be difficult to see, but if I pull up a larger image here, you guys might be able to get a better look at it. So as you can see here, it's actually 2 cards. So with all of these legend cards, there was a top and then there was a bottom. So the interesting thing was that you may be able to acquire, you know, 1/2 of this card, but it may be really difficult to actually come by the other half. So it really made the chase really interesting. And unlike any other Pokemon card that I've seen before, so the first ones came out with the Heart Gold and Soul Silver base set, and that was the Ho-Oh and Lugia cards. So let's just go ahead and take a look at those here real quick so that you guys can get an idea of these. They're really just awesome, you know, just in their artwork, in their design, the fact that they are so unique. You've never seen another Pokemon card like this where it required that you got both halves in order to complete the actual card itself. And on top of that, in order to use these cards in competitive play, you had to have both halves of the card in order for it to be viable within your deck. And unlike other cards, you could only have basically 2 sets of these cards. So you could essentially have, 2 halves of these cards available in your deck. So that really limited you on how many of these legend cards that you could actually have. Now, I'm not really sure of the playability of them. I don't know how popular they were in decks back then, but that also adds just a unique feature about these when you're looking at long-term value, long-term collectability of these type of cards that really set it apart from just your traditional Pokemon card that's only featured on one card itself. So you can see that it kind of expanded throughout other subsets here. It started with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Then they went into Unleashed. In Unleashed, you had Entei and Raikou, which you saw in the base set that it was just Ho-Oh, and then it was just Lugia. I'll just bring that up here really quick so that you can see that. So as you can see here, you've got the top here of Lugia and the bottom. And that's, again, it's just so awesome, the artwork on these. I just can't get over that. Lugia diving into the water here, and look at the text, look at, the damage counters, look at all of the, everything that you would traditionally see on a regular Pokemon card. It's just kind of jumbled. Which is really, really interesting. And the bottom half of the card, you can see that the top of it actually comes on the side, whereas the top half of the card would technically be on the side of the card. So it makes these really interesting when they're being sent off to be graded, which I think it presents a unique opportunity for companies like PSA, Beckett, CGC, whoever you're going with, to actually grade these cards. And it's probably more difficult to have these particular cards graded because of that, because obviously the text and everything is jumbled. The artwork itself expands throughout the card, so things like centering, different characteristics like that may be more difficult for them to actually judge with these cards. So if they do come back in a higher grade, to me that presents a really good value opportunity from that standpoint. So what we're going to go ahead and do, guys, let's just jump over to eBay. I want to show you guys what these cards are going for out on the open market, so that we can get a better idea of exactly what profit margins might be on these type of cards. So as you can see here, most of these are going to be in their raw versions. There's, from what I can find and what I've found throughout my experience, you don't see these out on the open market very often in a graded version. So as you can see here, we've got the Ho-Oh, and I'm looking at the Heart Gold, Soul Silver, so it's just the Ho-Oh and Lugia here. So here we've got both sides of the card, so the top and the bottom, recently sold for $70. Here, another one, first edition nonetheless, sold for a little over $20 for the top and the bottom. Now this is the Japanese version, so obviously it's going to be slightly less than the English version, but still $20 for both halves of the card. Even if that comes back, PSA 7, PSA 8. I think there's definitely potential there as well. Here we've got a PSA 9. This is just the top half of the card and sold for $116. So as you can see here, guys, it's going to be a little more difficult with these because you're going to have to find both halves of the card. And even if one half maybe grades a PSA 9, maybe the other one only grades a PSA 7. So to resell these out on the open market and to try to find a collector or investor, they're probably going to want the same grade for both halves. So this presents a unique opportunity in that, essentially you've got one card that could potentially have two different grades at the same time. So it does present a unique opportunity. But as you can see here, just for the top half of this card in a PSA 9 sold for $116. Over here, you're picking up both halves for $70. So even if you decided, you know what, I see that maybe there's more of a demand out there. More people have actually acquired maybe the top half versus the bottom. Maybe I'm just going to go ahead and sell the bottom half of the card because I don't see it out there that often. And especially if it comes back in a higher grade like a PSA 9, Beckett 9.5, CGC 9 or 9.5. I think that definitely presents a unique opportunity there. So as you can see, guys, I think that there is definitely potential with these. I want to run through some of the other subsets that these legend cards were included with. So this one is the Unleashed. So here you've got Entei and Raikou. And we're also going through the sold listings on these as well. And here's some actual booster packs of Unleashed. You know, $110 looks like for... maybe it was only for one here, but you know, still that's not a bad price, especially when you compare this to, you know, something like Fossil or Jungle, which in my opinion is in much larger quantities than something like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and you know, going for you know, around that same price. So I think it's still a good opportunity if you wanted to get into sealed products on this as well. Here you've got a PSA 9 Mint, Entei, and Raikou. It looks like that is the bottom half of the card. Here you got the top half, you know, sold for $10. So definitely opportunities here. Here you got the top and the bottom half for $80. Here's the bottom half sold PSA 8 for $35. So I think that there's definitely opportunity there as well. Just run through these other ones here really quickly. We've moved into Undaunted now. In this set, you've got the Kyogre and Groudon. It seems like this is the legend cards that are a little more expensive, maybe a little more popular, along with the Ho-Oh and the Lugia from Heart Gold, Soul Silver base set. So you guys can see what these are going for here. And obviously it's all going to be based upon condition if you're buying these cards in their raw version versus if they are graded. Here you've got a Rayquaza and Deoxys legend bottom sold for $35. Here you've got the top and the bottom for Kyogre and Groudon, $120. Here you've got... yeah, it looks like both the top and the bottom. So now we're looking at an actual complete graded card here for the Rayquaza and Deoxys, sold for $80 in a PSA 8. Let's see what they're going for in. So here we picked it up, you know, near mint quality for around $32 to get it graded. You know, you're looking at a fairly decent profit on something like that if you're wanting to turn around and sell it quickly. And again, that's the one thing that I want to stress with these is when we're talking about undervalued cards, these are things that, you know, maybe you might be able to turn for a profit in the short term, in the present moment. But realistically, what we're doing when we're buying into these is we're holding out for their future value. When basically, as more people come into the market, as more people come into the hobby, they start to recognize some of these sets, these cards that are undervalued and more people start buying into them, which ultimately drives the price up here. And I do think that these legend cards are definitely a part of that. One last set here that we'll run through really quickly is Triumphant. And this one features the Palkia and Dialga, which this one is really beautiful as well. There's also a Darkrai and Cresselia in this set. But just to familiarize yourself with, what these cards are going for, what they've been selling for, but also the opportunity that is there. These are really, really unique cards, and one that I think maybe not a lot of people are familiar with, and one that I think presents a unique position that you can really lock in on now, and one that I believe will have really nice future growth as we move on 5-10 years into the future. So that is going to do it for today's discussion on undervalued Pokemon cards. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the cards that we discussed here today. Those legend cards, those victory medal cards. Let me know if you guys have experience in these areas, whether it be from a collecting standpoint, from an investing standpoint, and also let me know your opinions on what you think these cards will do, both in the short term as well as their long-term expected value. That is going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back each and every week. We are getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. It is literally right around the corner, and I can't thank you guys enough. Other than that, I will see you all in the next video. My name is PokéNav. I'm here to help you navigate the world of Pokemon one video at a time, and I will see you all next time.